Imagine, a podcast series by Imagine Theatre.
Yes, hello again. Welcome to episode 81 of the Just Imagine podcast series, and for a second year we're here at the UK Pantomime Association Awards 2024.
For more information, go to their website at www.imaginetheatre.co.uk.
Thank you so much for your support so far, and a big thank you to all of my previous guests and of course the Imagine team. In the last episode, I was joined by performer, Great British Sewing Bee contestant and member of the Imagine wardrobe team, Adam Brooks. Now don't worry if you missed that or any of the other previous episodes, because they are all still available, so make sure you check them out, and while you're at it, subscribe to the series so that you don't miss any future episodes. Well, as you can hear, this time I'm excited to say we are here behind the scenes at the Star Spangled Annual Awards event, which is being staged this year at the fabulous G Live in Guildford. Well, of course, the Vice Chair of the Association and the producer of this fabulous event each year is Sam Munday-Webb. How's it going? You look a little bit flustered.
I always look a little bit flustered this time. It's one of those events where you can only rehearse a certain amount. We've obviously got performers coming on the day, limited time. There's no way we can run the show, so we kind of do like bite-sized rehearsals, make everyone feel comfortable, and hope if everything should go okay, but if it doesn't, then we take everyone with us on that journey.
We spoke last year about how successful it was and the fact that, you know, you'd almost outgrown the Trafalgar. Well, here we are at G Live, absolute perfect fit, and obviously what a fabulous venue this year.
Absolutely, and you know, pantomime is such a regional concept, so it's wonderful that we can celebrate the regions by taking it ever so slightly out the West End, but still, you know, within good reach of London, and acknowledging the great work that all the regions do to celebrate and support pantomime.
So there are, I think, 22 categories this year, and you know, goodness only knows. Going to talk to Dr. Rob Marsden in a moment's time about the judging, because that's been a mammoth task as well this year. But I think everybody who's here is in for a real treat tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we've changed the concept slightly. We've got kind of three main presenters leading the way, who are going to give us a good variation of presenting styles, and some really wonderful performances. Obviously, we were due to have Anita Harris. Unfortunately, she is indisposed. She fractured her hip, and frantically last night on the phone at 5 o'clock, we managed to secure the wonderful Rob Madge, who, of course, is also an advocate of and alumni of Stagecoach, our headline sponsor.
It's going to be fabulous. We must say, first of all, get well soon to Anita Harris, because she was so desperately looking forward to this, wasn't she?
Oh, she was, and she had prepared the most wonderful song, and she really was devastated. And I think, you know, for someone who does the work that she does, you know, she performs 3 shows a day at Windsor still, in her 80s, and that really can't be underestimated. Just how big and what an effort that is. But she kind of knocked out the park every time.
Well, we're looking forward to tonight. Have a fabulous evening yourself, despite all the responsibility you've got. Sam, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, this year there are actually 3 hosts to this annual event. 2 of them are joining me now, Ore Oduba, Angelica Bell. How are you both?
Well, wonderful.
Pleased to see you.
Yeah. Myra's still getting changed.
Yeah.
She's got 17 undergarments to put on, so she'll be with us on stage, but no, she can't be with us just now.
So just, Angelica, first of all, tell us, what does pantomime mean to you?
Well, do you know what? It's one of those things I didn't know much about growing up. But as I got into CBBC, and we used to have the characters come into CBBC, we used to interview them, I was like, oh my goodness. And then I did a pantomime whilst I was at CBBC. I was in Chatham, I was Aladdin the Genie. And I just sort of fell in love with it. And it's really interesting to see how it brings families together, and it brings communities together. And I love it. So I go every year now, and especially when I know people in panto, it makes it even more special.
Yeah, well, obviously, no stranger to panto yourself, but as a child, were you aware of it? Did you go and see it?
Only in bits and bobs, a bit like Jelly. I hadn't really gone to loads as a kid. But now having kids, it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
Like Angelica, graduating CBBC and basically playing dress up for a living as a young adult, it's only right that I put all the bells and whistles on now and get paid for it as a job. Yeah. And I absolutely love it. This year I'm going to be playing the villain in our Aladdin in Tunbridge Wells, and
I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that.
Yeah.
Because you are the nicest, yummiest person around.
I haven't worked on my sourness yet, but yeah, I need to find it. My son is so excited that he gets to boo me this year.
How are you going to feel about that, though, being booed by the audience?
Yeah, well, when you spent 20 years of your life trying to be liked, it is a bit of a change. So I'm going to make sure I just don't go home crying at the end of every night, because it could make that run quite long. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I love the booze.
As a performer, doing panto, the first one you ever did, for instance, it's a real eye opener, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's a very different performance on stage to any other kind of genre, and that's why we love it. It's a full theatre experience for everybody on stage and off. And it's just a part of our Christmas landscape. So it's so wonderful when you know that everybody is so excited to be there, families, communities, every age bracket. It's just a joy.
And of course, CBeebies have been doing a panto every year for a number of years now as well. That tie between children's television and panto really works.
Oh yeah, it seamlessly works together. I mean, Ore and I, like you said, graduated from CBBC, and you do work with the camera, but then to go out there and see your audience, it's exhilarating, and see children screaming up, happy, throwing around their little neon, their little... it's amazing. They're having their banners. It's incredible. And I think, we're taught to express ourselves, to let ourselves go and, be your best self. And I think that's what you bring to the stage, and entertaining people. There's nothing better than seeing a smile on the audience's face. And I mean, I bet you're addicted to that as well.
Absolutely addicted. Especially when your children hate me like mine do. It's nice to get more other children like
Having said that, I mean, this is probably the first experience that any child will have of theatre. It really opens their eyes. And of course, it brings everybody together from all different aspects of the profession. You will work on stage in panto with people you probably never would have worked with otherwise.
Oh yeah, and you learn so much. The little nuances, comedy timing, try not to laugh at your own jokes. Well, it depends what character, It was really something special to see. And that experience in the theatre, the history, when you tread those boards, whichever theatre you are, because each theatre has their own unique history, and, different stars have been there. It does make you feel special. It makes you value what you have and your career. So it was amazing. And being here as well is making me think, oh my gosh, why can't I do panto again? I don't know. Like your career just takes you a different path. But now I'm like going, come on, let's do this. Woo!
Absolutely. But the room's filled with legends, and it is such an amazing art form that we all love. It's a British institution in that way. And like you said, I'd not met Ben Roddy before I worked with him in Canterbury, and he's up for in his legendary status up there, nominated tonight, and he's such an incredible worker of his craft. He has it and when you standing there, when you're in rehearsal or watching in the wings or being with him on stage, you're like, this is incredible. How they managed to refine the art of getting the gag and hitting that punchline so marvellously. So we just got to make sure we don't muck it up tonight, hon, because we'll be the punchline.
No pressure. It should be a fabulous night. Have fun, and thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, chair of the UK Pantomime Association is Simon Sladen, who's no stranger to this podcast, let me tell you. How are you, first of all?
I'm good, and it's one to be back for another episode and another Panto Awards.
So, I was talking to Sam earlier on about last year, discussing how amazing it was, but that you'd almost outgrown the Trafalgar, and here we are at G Live. Isn't it fabulous?
G Live, I mean, firstly, we all know regional theatre is so important, but absolutely the sort of bedrock of pantomime, and we really wanted to honour that. So it's great to be here at G Live in Guildford tonight. Also, what a great challenge to have. I think we spoke about that after the Panto Awards last time, like what do we do? We've outgrown the West End. Pantomime has outgrown the West End. So here we are tonight, bigger venue, more accessible venue. We're looking forward to a different style of ceremony, and let's see how it goes. There's lots of nerves, there's lots of anticipation, and we're only a bit before curtain up.
I mean, that's not the only thing that's expanded. I think more judges, more shows have been seen, more meetings to organise the long list, the short list, and so on.
Yeah.
Meticulous planning has gone in at every stage, getting bigger and better.
Getting bigger, getting better, I suppose we're getting more robust. It's our third year now. We take it very, very seriously. Pantomime, but also this whole process. This year there were 3 judges' conferences to really look at those scores, debate what we had seen on those short, long lists, getting them down to the short lists. Training has become a really important aspect that we deliver for our judges. But over 70 judges, over 250 shows. That's that number of performances, but that's the dedication that the judges have to pantomime. It shows you that wealth and that diversity of landscape of performance. One of our judges did over 50 shows. Wow. That shows a great commitment, but also how wonderful to see that huge landscape of shows, from the tinier venues to the hugest, over 1,500 seats. They're all here tonight. We're going to celebrate pantomime, and how great to celebrate pantomime in all its glories. People we see on the stage, people we don't know but that are backstage, providing creative decisions, design, technical feats. We're truly unique in that.
And the one thing about this event every year is that it just highlights even more just how much of a family the world of panto is.
I mean, that's what's lovely, standing here with you now. The buzz, we haven't seen each other since the season, or last year, or how are you? We talk about Pantoland, but when we talk about Pantoland, it's so affectionate. It is a place where everyone is welcome, where we all know each other. And tonight, yes, we're here, nominees, winners, but everybody's rooting for everybody. And I think that's what's incredibly special about such a supportive and inclusive industry like this.
Should be a great night, Simon. Thank you so much for talking to us again.
Thank you so much. Can't wait.
Well, of course, every year the judging for the UK Pantomime Awards is a massive task. Head of judging is Dr. Robert Marsden. Rob, how are you?
I'm very well, Martin. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. You look a bit stressed. I mean, it's been a massive task, actually. Military precision in the organisation.
It's an amazing year, and like pantomime itself, it's actually a year in the making. So as soon as the previous awards are down, we're already thinking about the next season. This year we've had 70 judges. They've visited nearly 260 venues. They've watched 728 pantomime performances. It's an enormous undertaking with an amazing team of volunteers. We train all of our judges, and we have our conferences as well. We have 3 conferences looking at various different long lists and short lists. It's a year-long process.
A lot of people might think a panto, like all art forms, is fairly subjective if you're sitting in the audience. For that reason, it's very, very important that all the judges are on the same page, and you've made every effort to ensure that the judging is consistent.
We have, over the last 2 years, every category has a set of criteria, and those criteria are quite open, but they give the judges something to hang on, because every pantomime production is different, and we don't want to say that pantomime is one thing. We want to say that pantomime has very different ways of interpreting pantomime as a director, or as a writer, or as a creative artist and a performer. So therefore, the criteria is there to help the judges to inform their decisions. So that criteria is there, they have to then score that, and that scoring is averaged out. That scoring then starts to inform the long lists, and then we go into these conferences where we have rich and deep conversations around those scoring. That then informs a short list. And that brings us here tonight to G Live.
Yeah, well, a shout out to all the judges, because they put a lot of effort in. It's all voluntary as well, of course.
They do. They travel the length and breadth of the country. We have an amazing team of judges. They attend the training. They're here tonight. It's a great chance to also celebrate our judging panel. We could not do it without them, and therefore the industry and this celebration, the industry can't do without them, because actually we wouldn't be here tonight celebrating pantomime if it wasn't for our amazing team of judges.
I bet as well, finally, there were quite a few battles in the discussions for the long list and the short list, because everybody wants to fight their corner, having seen such fabulous work, and I think the quality of panto seems to get better every year, doesn't it?
It does, and that's why we always can return to this criteria. So when there is that judgment coming in, we're able to return to the criteria, we're able to use that as a conversation starter. The criteria is all available on the UK Pantomime Association website, so anybody can have a look at the criteria for all the categories. And there's also sets of criteria for nominations for Newcomer Award or the Special Recognition Awards as well, which our judges support in that process too.
Well, listen, have a great evening. Thank you for talking to us.
Great to see you, Martin.
Well, I think the show is just about to start, so let's go inside and enjoy the awards.
Welcome to TV Live here in Guildford. It's time for the Pantomime Awards, proudly sponsored by Stagecoach Performing Arts, presented by the UK Pantomime Association.
And while the audience settled down for tonight's ceremony, a reminder that this year there are 22 categories and Imagine Theatre has 8 nominations. Amongst the winners was Jewel Hutchinson, the Best Early Career Newcomer for Cinderella at the Nottingham Playhouse. The Best Newcomer to Pantomime was Benjamin Armstrong for Aladdin at the Lighthouse Theatre in Poole. The Barbara Windsor Award for Best Principal Lead went to Alexandra Mardell for Goldilocks and the Three Bears at the Theatre Royal Plymouth. Paul Hendy won the award for Best Script for Aladdin at the Marlow Theatre in Canterbury. The Best Secondary Lead was Lottie Brogan for Dick Whittington at the King's Lynn Corn Exchange. And the Best Set Design went to David Shields for Snow White at the Grand Theatre Wolverhampton. The Best Sound Design Award winner was Nigel Bayliss for Sleeping Beauty at the Theatre Royal Bath. Best Supporting Artist was Ben Tanner for Mother Goose at the Derby Arena. And the Best Villain was Wendy Harriott from Sleeping Beauty at the Watersmeet Theatre, Rickmansworth. And here they are, the sisters, the award-winning sisters from the Belgrave Theatre in Coventry, Ian Lachlan and Andy Hockley. How do you feel?
Absolutely flabbergasted, I have to say. As I said on stage, there are so many ugly sisters who do such a brilliant job every year, every single year. You know, we haven't done it for 34 years.
34 years, and they cobbled us together this year. We didn't know how it was going to turn out. Little did we know that it was going to turn out like this. It's absolutely fantastic.
I mean, people should know that you have worked together many, many times over the years. And that's really important in terms of the chemistry, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Ian was best man at my wedding, so I mean, we go back a long way. So I must have thought something of him then, otherwise I'd never have asked him. But yeah, we've done all sorts together. As you know, Martin, I've played the gamut of pantomime roles over the years. And we've both played Ugly Sisters together at the Belgrade since 34 years ago with different partners. And so this was a big deal for us to get back together, especially, you know, we're a lot older than we were then. And we're unsure how the chemistry was going to work, but we both had an absolute ball. And that was largely down to the fantastic company that we had.
We had a lovely company, we really did. I mean, we were very unsure at the beginning. We shared our worries at the beginning of the rehearsals.
And we shared a dressing room, thankfully.
And we shared a dressing room.
No.
We could talk about it.
Counselling.
How's this going to work? Are we going to... Because, I mean, I love playing Dame, and I'm not so fond of playing Ugly Sister. But my God, we had such a great time.
I was going to ask you about that because the dynamic is so different, isn't it?
It is.
And, you know, you've got to sort of bridge that gap between being a baddie but being funny and entertaining at the same time. Yeah. It's a real challenge, isn't it?
It is, and it's a challenge for the audience because they want to laugh with you, but they don't know you're the baddie. And it is a challenge. But I just feel that something went right this year, and we just got it right.
As the sisters, you're gifted with that scene where you everybody's feeling good because Buttons has helped Cinderella out, and he's got a lovely dress to wear, and we come on and we destroy it, and we take a ticket and we make her rip it up, and that is the point. That's the turning point where the audience go, "You really are not nice." But and then it occurs in the perfect part of the show, because then you kick the second half off with the ball, where we come in the most ridiculous costumes that we've ever worn, and suddenly everybody thinks we're funny again, and they've kind of forgotten all that because she turns up and she gets her prince.
That's right, yeah.
So, but it's a great part in the show where the audience know that we're the baddies.
So which one of you had the long stocking and which one of you had the false leg?
Oh, I had the long stocking.
I had the false leg.
Now, you said on stage, Ian, just now, when you received the award, you know, how important it is that it's a team effort.
Yeah.
You direct at the Belgrade as well. But it's not just the cast, the backstage crew, it's the whole venue, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. You need the support from the whole venue. Otherwise, it's so difficult to do. It's such a big show. It's the biggest show the theatres do every year. And you need the support from the theatre, from front of house, you know, from
And do you know what,
backstage.
Martin? It's the audience as well.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Ian always says, and he said it over the years, when we're just about to go from the rehearsal room into the theatre, he always says, you'll be introduced to your final character in the show when we open. And it is the audience. And the Belgrade audiences are so supportive and loyal, and they make a big difference to any show that we do there.
Well, I mean, it's building on its success decade after decade, and people keep coming back. And you'll know from the early days, you probably got children and grandchildren of the people that first came to see the show.
Yeah.
And the number of people that have worked with the two of you, you know, from the Juve Chorus and so on, that have gone on to work in the business is incredible. I'm so delighted for you both. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And go and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much, Martin. That's nice, very kind of you. Thank you.
Amongst the other winners, the award for Best Choreography went to Miles Brown for Beauty and the Beast at the Assembly Hall Theatre in Tunbridge Wells. The Best Comic was Matt Slack for Jack and the Beanstalk at the Birmingham Hippodrome. Winner of Best Costume Design was Dawn Alsop for Snow White at the Theatre Royal Bury St Edmunds, and the Best Direction went to Simon Fielding for Cinderella at the Towngate Theatre in Basildon. This year's Best Ensemble were in Mother Goose at the Cambridge Arts Theatre. The Carmen Silvera Award for the Best Magical Being went to Amanda Henderson for Jack and the Beanstalk at the Rill Pavilion, and the Best Contribution to Music winner was Chris Wong for Aladdin at the Marlow Theatre in Canterbury.
Well, there is nothing like a dame. It's a well-used phrase, but there is nothing like Ben Roddy's dame. And so, this year, he's been awarded the Best Dame at the UK Panto Awards. How do you feel?
Oh, delighted. Really honoured to be nominated with such a fantastic group of dames. You know, Phil Harris, I know, is amazing in mould, and Elaine C. Smith. Well, I mean, it was a really great lineup. So really honoured. And, you know, I know there's brilliant dames all over the country, so don't take it for granted. And, yeah, delighted to be here.
Yeah, and it's a great event, actually, to bring everybody together. We were just chatting about that. It really is a Panto family, isn't it?
Yeah, we're one big family, really. I mean, you know, we all go off into our little pockets all around the country and do our shows every year. But actually, it's so nice, you know, for the organisation, the Panto Awards, to bring us all together. You know, when we're all, you know, like when you know, all the glitter's off and we can all settle down and we can all have a lovely evening together. And the awards are the icing on the cake. But actually, one of the nicest things is seeing all of our friends from around the industry in here. You know, they're all in that room. And so it's really lovely, yeah.
Now, for those people who haven't seen you, what is your dame like?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? I'm big. I'm definitely a bloke in a dress. I'm sort of bombastic. I'm a front foot dame, I think I would say. I'm not draggy, not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's different, you know, there's different angles. I'm much more bloke in a frock, a clown, if you like. And I've been very lucky to be at the brilliant Marlow Theatre for 15 years nearly. It does. It blink and you miss, like blink and you like, you know, it feels like only 5 minutes ago. So it's lovely, isn't it? When you, I mean, you know, it's like Martin, when you get your, you know, when you know an audience and they know you, and you know, it's a privilege to share families' histories with them, and you see them come back every year, and you meet them at stage door, and it's a real privilege, you know. So it's lovely, and it's something I feel very lucky to do.
Congratulations and well deserved, Ben. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks, Martin.
And just to wrap up the rest of the awards, the best pantomime at a venue with fewer than 500 seats went to Agoneser Scrooge at the Tron Theatre in Glasgow. The best pantomime at a venue with 500 to 900 seats was won by Sleeping Beauty at the Gordon Craig Theatre in Stevenage. And the best pantomime at a venue with more than 900 seats was won by Jack and the Beanstalk at the Birmingham Hippodrome. The Outstanding Achievement Award went to the Twins FX. The contribution to pantomime history, tradition and heritage was won by Michael J. Batchelor. The Achievement in Innovation Award went to Cinderella at the Theatre Chipping Norton. And the Achievement in Inclusive Practice was won by Aladdin at the McRobert Arts Centre in Stirling. One final award, picked up by Imagine, went to Jamie Corbidge for the Best Lighting Design for Cinderella at the Swansea Grand Theatre. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't able to collect it, so Chief Executive from Imagine, Steve Bowden, collected it on his behalf. First of all, what happened to Jamie, Steve?
He injured himself, and he's black and blue. He sent us a photo. So he fell over. I wasn't sure if it was in the theatre or not, but he certainly sent his apologies for not being here tonight and sent a few words in case he was fortunate enough. And, we've worked with Jamie now on our big digital shows for 3 years, and he is one of the finest lighting designers I've ever worked with on Panto. He understands the art form. He understands the tech that is available in these days, which is constantly evolving, and Jamie's on the kind of cutting edge of what the new tech is. And he can bring all sorts of amazing effects, and more importantly, assemble them all in the incredibly tight tech times that we have on Panto.
Yeah, and the reputation of that Panto is growing year on year, isn't it, for the innovative way that the lighting and the digital sets work together.
Absolutely right, and it was really important to us that we had a team, both in terms of the screens and also in terms of the lighting, who understood each other's disciplines. And Jamie's fortunate to not only have done a lot of theatre work, but also done a lot of conference work and gig work, and so understood the way that you can integrate those two visual art forms, because screens produce a lighting produces a light. Bringing those two skills together is a real challenge on a stage in a panto.
Yeah, so get well soon, Jamie. And the evening, it's a great sort of get-together for the whole industry again, isn't it? It's a real sort of panto family get-together.
It's great to get together every year to meet your colleagues who are doing it and to support this great art form. It's just brilliant.
Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin.
And that's it for now from us all here at the 2024 UK Pantomime Association Awards. Congratulations to all of the nominees, the category winners, the hosts Ore Oduba, Angelica Bell and Myra Dubois, the performers, and of course the organisers led by the producer Sam Monday Webb for what has been another fabulous event. Thanks again for supporting this podcast series, and don't forget there are many more fabulous guests still to come, so subscribe now. And make sure you join me, Martin Ballard, for the next episode when I'll be meeting the multi-instrumental musician, musical director, arranger, composer and sound designer, Miles Russell.
Thank you for listening to the latest edition of Just Imagine, the podcast series from Imagine Theatre. And you can find out more by going to www.imaginetheatre.co.uk.